Three, two, one. Hey, everyone. This is Tina McGlynn with another episode of Life and Stories. Hope everyone's doing okay today. And guess what? I got another author, but this one is going to be very interesting because I know nothing about him. So I have got Keven Renken, the author of Welcome to the Day. So he's going to have to tell not only me, but everyone else about his book, how it came to be. And he's just across the bay over in, oh no, you taught at St. Pete. Sorry. Let me restate that. He was a former educator in theater in Pinellas County Schools. But Keven, I'm going to let you tell your story because this is what this is all about. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
Except I'm laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I was an educator for 30 years in Pinellas County. I live in Seminole Heights in Tampa, which will come up soon when we talk about my little travel.
How I met you, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And 3 years ago, well, actually 6 years ago, I decided to go back to graduate school at the age of 57 because I thought, we always talk about wanting to become authors, but if we don't do anything about it, then you don't want to get to the end of your life and say, oh, I should have, I didn't want to do that. So I went back and got my graduate degree at UT, my master's degree in creative writing. And my graduate thesis was a book that got published a year later. I'll hold it up here. Welcome to the Day.
I love that.
And it got published in 2019. And it's been the finalist for 5 independent book awards.
That's awesome.
Which is very cool. I refer to myself as the Susan Lucci of independent book awards because you remember Susan Lucci in the 80s? She could not win an Emmy to save her soul. You remember that?
Yes.
She would get nominated every year and she could not win. So I call myself the Susan Lucci of independent book awards.
Oh.
So that was quite an achievement. I actually kind of cried when the book got done because you have it there for so long.
Yeah.
But it's all of a sudden, look, I can hold it in my hand and I can open the pages and see words on a page.
It's tangible, not up here. It's something.
It's here. It's tangible. Yes. Yep. And there's another story that's attached to this book that I have to tell. This on the cover is an actual picture of my family.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My father, my older brother, my older sister, and I actually asked them to cut my mother off because if you read the book, the mother is kind of, she's not a real, she's there, but she's not. And so I like the notion of almost seeing the mother. And if you look at it really hard, my fat little chubby hand is right there. So I was in the picture originally, but they cut it off because I asked them to, right?
And that's compelling. Now that's going to that's your pitch. That's going to make people want to buy that book to figure out why is his mother not there. So don't give it away.
And I was kind of obsessed with the notion of what it takes for us to get back to the people we love or what it takes to get back home. And so it's about a day in the life of this older man who found out some bad news about his health and becomes obsessed with trying to get back to the ones he loves.
Okay.
It's one day in his life, and it's this journey, which isn't that interesting. It's about a journey considering what you read online. And it's loosely based on my father. The character's name is Raymond. My dad's name was Raymond. And it was published in November of 19. In January of 20, my dad turned 90. And I was able to hand him a copy of this book for his 90th birthday, right? And 9 months later, he died. He caught the coronavirus and he died. And so I was very, very happy that I was able to hand him this book and say, look, this is what I did to honor you before he died. Oh.
That's awesome.
Did you see the tail go by?
Yeah, I did. That's okay. That's life. That's awesome. For the fact that he lived to 90 and that you were able to present him.
To give him the book. That was very, very important. Yeah. So, so that's the story of my book. I hope people read it. And
how do we find it?
Yes. Very good question. It was published by Breaking Rules Publishing. So you can get it through the publisher. Okay. And of course, I get royalties quicker if you buy it through the publisher, but I would never say that out loud. Oh, I did already. Oh my goodness.
As opposed to Amazon, we have to
Yes,
give them
exactly.
the money.
But you can get it on Amazon and Kindle, actually. Yes,
Oh,
you can
okay.
get it on Amazon and Kindle as well. So I'm right there. You'll see my little author picture when you click on Welcome to the Day on Amazon. So
And we'll have all those links too. If you're listening on the audio version of this podcast, just pop over to the YouTube channel and you'll see all of Kevin's links for
there you
that
go.
too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then now we met on I love the Seminole Heights community, and should have lived there, but you can't have an RV in your property.
No, you can't.
So I follow the community because I actually used to own I own property. The reason why I follow the community, I'll tell you real quick, is I owned property on Webster between Osborne. Yes, 3 residential lots that I actually made into a garden. Huge garden. Was going to do something with Mount Olive Church, but then life happened. So I actually hung on to that piece of land for the longest time, and then I subsequently sold it to start the Kate Foundation. But that's why I follow that Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love the area. I love the whole point of refreshing and renewing things that have become, old or outdated or dilapidated. And then that's how I look at Seminole Heights. That's just come back strong and vibrant. And so tell me what your link to Seminole Heights is.
Well, we've lived here since 1990, so we've lived here for 31 years. And when I retired, rather than go back into the classroom during the pandemic, of course, we think what I'm going to do in retirement is travel. We all think that, right? But of course, no one's traveling during the pandemic. I thought, oh yeah, I'll travel with my husband and we'll do all this stuff. And of course, no one's traveling right now. No, not at all.
I know.
And I just had this idea, which is weirdly linked to my book now that I think about it, that travel is really going from one place to another place and then coming back. I mean, really, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this huge, gigantic thing. And so I got this idea that I was going to travel in the neighborhood. And after the first of the year, I just decided, using my street as the central point, I was going to travel around, maybe a 1-block radius on either side of it. And then at first I thought I was going to do it every week, but if I did it every week, I would be 52 blocks out from my home, right?
Butts back.
I know, exactly. So I thought I'll do every other week, so I'll only get 26 blocks away. So I did that, and then 2 weeks later, I do a wider radius around just walking.
Yeah.
All I do when I walk is I write about where I go and what I see. I don't editorialize about it. I just talk about what I see. And I think about things like, well, James Joyce's Ulysses, for instance, which it's like one day in his life, and he observes everything that happens in when he's walking. And I don't think you have to add anything to it. I think all of that speaks for itself, where you go and what you see, and people put their own stuff onto it, I think. And so that was just my goal, was just to walk around and talk about what I see when I go. And then I would post it on the Facebook page. And I've been doing it since the beginning of the year. So I posted 4 or 5 times now, and people have started really following it. And the posts get longer, and because I travel more places, right?
Yeah.
And at one point, someone said, nice reading, you could use paragraphs more often. So
is that an English teacher?
Yeah, exactly. So the next time I made sure that my paragraphs were nice and short. And still this last night, someone said, didn't read it, too long.
Right. Yeah. Because of our I've been told that, like I said, I was doing this media mastery class, and I've been told that our attention spans have become so short. Now, not for me, because I'm an avid reader. I've been speed reading all my life, but your post spoke to me because I'm nosy. I'm very interested in people. And there's obviously, I have a podcast called Life and Stories, and I want to know about the people. But just the way you wrote really, spoke to me. And that's what I wrote. I didn't even know you from Adam. I'm like, hey, if you talk the way you write, I need you on my podcast.
Yes, you did.
Because you took things and you said, here's what caught me. You wrote about everyday life in a different, more expanded version that people forget about.
Ah,
You know what I mean by that?
yes, yes.
I hope so, 'cause you are the author.
I am. I am.
You did. You wrote in details that when you're in a hurry or you're preoccupied, you miss about life.
Well, and it's funny you say that, because being in a place where I left the career after 31 years, and I lost my father in the course of like a month.
Yeah.
I was in a kind of a weird transitional phase.
Sure.
And I found myself, it was very helpful for me to just be in the moment when I was on the walk. You know, I wasn't thinking about what was going to happen next week or, you know, any of this other stuff. I was just in the moment right there, seeing and observing what was going on right there at that moment, and then just recording it. And that was, it was almost like it was therapy for me in a sense.
I could see that, because think about it. You just went through 2 hierarchy of changes, haven't you? The two top 5.
And they always tell you you're only supposed to do one at a time.
Like yes, you are.
like you have control over the situation.
Yeah.
But this was very helpful to me in that I was away from all of that, and I was right there, and I was very present, which I think we all need to work on a lot more in our lives.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
And so to be just present in that moment and see what I saw and to hear what I heard and to then record it as a record of that moment in time was very, very important to me. And so I've been doing it since the first of the year. I really enjoy doing it. I have to tell my husband every week, I could be away from the house a little bit longer this time.
You give him a time limit to be like, hey, what's his name?
There's Bill.
Bill, be like, Bill, if I'm not back in 2 hours, call 911. I mean,
I think the longest it's been so far has been an hour and a half.
If I'm not back.
If I'm not back by such and such a time, you might want to call the police.
And you know, the thing is though, on Nebraska, there's so many furniture stores. I was going to Publix on Idlewild, and I drove by this one store, and I kind of look and I see a woman laid flat out. And I just had to pick up some real quick at Publix, and I'm like to myself, if she's still laid out like that, and that's the thing is because I am observant. So many people drove by, and I was furious, and then like understanding all at once. And I came back through, and she's still. And I walk into the store owner, and I'm like, "Do you know there's a woman who's flat out on your?" "Oh yeah, she'll be fine." And I'm like, "No, she won't be fine." You know, so
she may
and that's
not.
just observations. Like I'm thinking to myself, how could nobody stop? Because we don't observe anymore.
No, you're right. And you see such interesting things if you just allow yourself to see those things. And to me, this is a cliche, but the devil is in the details. To me, the details capture the moment. So, and as a writer, if there are details, then you understand it, I think, far much more than if there aren't.
Sure.
I think the details just capture the writing so much. I'm very detail oriented in my writing, as you'll see if you read Welcome to the Day.
I'm going to do the good thing. I'm going to go to your publisher and I'll.
Oh, bless you. And so I think the details are so important, and they could be swing off points for other things. Like this last time, I saw a woman talking, and I was convinced.
Oh, with the earpiece?
Yeah. Yes. I thought, is she talking to herself, or is she? There must be an earpiece situation going on here. Yeah. The guy on my bicycle that drove past and said, "Yes, you are," and I had no idea what he was talking about. And then I realized I had that "You are what makes Seminole Heights" t-shirt on.
Yeah.
And he must have been referring to that. So you just run into all kinds of situations. That the details are just so important, and I think the details are what make it interesting. I think, yeah.
And people clamor for. It's funny. I just was talking with someone who was, we were talking about moving, and the real estate market in Tampa is ridiculous, and blah blah blah. And she said, "I just want to find that old town feel where you have a main street, and you have this, and you have that." And I said to her, "You got to look at Seminole Heights." And she just kind of looked at me and go, "Have you been there lately?" So think about it, though. It's starting to be a very how do I want it? Nurturing community, for lack of
it really is.
I'm not sure if nurturing is quite the word I want to use, but it's thriving. People can work and live there.
There are stores.
Yeah.
There are restaurants now. If you want to go out to eat dinner, you don't ever have to leave the neighborhood anymore. There are small businesses, which we all know are the backbone of a neighborhood anyway. And it's become a real walking community. People walk places here. And the very first time I went in my small little circle, I saw a person holding a baby in his front yard. And I mentioned that. And he texted me or he responded saying, I was probably the man with the baby. So it's just like, in many ways, it's a really close community too. Yeah. It's very much about neighbors, but capturing the details is what's so important to me. Yeah. And because the details tell us what the neighborhood is like. So
it's not nondescript by any means. There's so much, to it. And like I said, I grew up in a city in New York, Syracuse, where, we had, old historic homes, and I lived around them in the younger part of my years. And as I grew older, I wanted to live in that type of a house, from the 40s, 50s, possibly even, older, but that's hard to come by in the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. And just they're well built, the history, the porches. Think about porches.
I talk about the porches all the time. That is, there are so many comfort, porches that you just want to go. And I would never do this because I'd probably get arrested. But
I'm just gonna hang on your porch.
I would just want to come and hang on your porch. You got a cool porch. I think I'm gonna hang out here. We live in a house that was built in 1925.
Oh, wow.
And we just love it here. And someone has told us there's a ghost here. A friendly, benevolent ghost, though, because I don't ever feel like I'm in, woo. Like I'm about to be attacked. But it's just, we really, really love it. So, and just last time someone said, well, today I had iced tea. Well, and to me, that's an interesting detail. So I was like, so how was it? Tell me about your glass of iced tea. So I just really dig on the minutia and the mundane ramblings, because to me, that's a lot about what our lives are like. And I think that's very important to capture. So.
Yeah. And I like I said, that's what you definitely caught my eye, just the writing, and I could almost picture, because I know Seminole Heights well enough, I could just almost picture the path that, that you're taking, because, you got the river, you've got, people that are, out and about, and all sorts of things, happening. And I know there's a lot of construction related things going on there, old buildings that possibly may or may not survive, the redevelopment of Seminole Heights, or whatever they're calling it. Yeah. It wouldn't be development, I guess, redeveloping. Yeah. And
you see new houses being built, and the one thing I'm happy about is that they're being built, but they're being faithful to the old style, I think.
Yeah.
Which I think is really a very important thing here in this neighborhood.
Well, it'd be odd to have there is one street, I can't remember, in Seminole Heights, and this house does stick out like a sore thumb. It's very modern. And I don't remember which, but I kind of looked at it, I went, it doesn't fit in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. So every 2 weeks I post on the Seminole Heights Facebook page. I call them my walkabouts. Someone calls them travelogues, and it's just what I've observed that day. Yeah. Once it gets really hot, I'll be very curious to see.
Yeah, sure. Right. You have to go in the morning. Are you a morning person?
I'll go very early in the morning. Yeah. And I am going to admit this to the world at large, but I never learned how to ride a bike. So I recently bought an adult tricycle, and right. And so I'm gonna go, ride around the neighborhood in my little adult trike and do that from the Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah, but you know what? They're actually very comfortable. I see a lot of older people who prefer them because of balance. Because yes, so
that's why I like
it. You'll be fine. We won't know that you don't know how to ride a bike.
So if I stop at a business and want to buy something, I can put it in the basket. And
yes. It's funny because my husband and I just got electric bikes last year, and I fell off of it twice first because It goes
Did you really?
fast.
Yeah. Oh, I'll bet. And how many miles do they go before you have to recharge them?
Ours goes 20, and we specifically, I love it because my rule of thumb is I don't want to tow a car, so we better make sure we put in what we need. But then he bought these bikes, and at first I was hesitant, but I got the feel of it. But 20 miles is definitely, long enough if we were somewhere and we had to, go and get something. We
Sure.
use it to explore, because you can't, if we're in our RV and we're parked at the park and we love exploring old towns and just seeing what's going on. We were up in the panhandle of Florida, and we were bopping around towns. We laugh about it now, that you wouldn't even hear of, just
Sure.
because we could,
Hmm.
so we love the hiking, and the bike worked out well. But I see a lot of those tricycles, and again, I would rather be on a bike and not have to work so hard if I'm being out leisurely. So you're good.
So you're able to take the bikes with you when you go out in the RV?
Yeah, we have this, bike rack, and that they get locked up, and there's
Wow.
keys to the electric bike. So if anybody were to steal them, fine, you're not gonna be able to use them. So
Yeah. So,
yeah,
so
so that's
far I've made it as far north as the river, and I've made it to Central.
oh, okay.
And so I'm making, and I've gone as far as 20th. Um,
The other way.
yeah, the other way. So I've made it that far. So yeah, I've got a ways to go yet. And of course, there's so many side streets. It's I get distracted by a side street for no reason except that I've not been there before. So there's a lot to explore yet.
I'd get the sidetracked by the bakery.
Oh yes,
Walk
exactly.
to the bakery and back.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
justify it.
I'll buy some of these, please, and then munch on my way.
Because it's, like I said, it's such a great neighborhood. Now let me here's a big question I ask people who've written a book. You gonna write another one?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I am working on a second one right now.
Good.
And that's the one thing, is that during the pandemic, it's afforded me some time to actually do that. So
Good.
I'm hoping that maybe by the summer it'll be done.
Okay.
Right now it's called Wayward Child.
Oh.
And it's based on stories from my childhood into a young adulthood. And so it's a series of stories that tell one person's life. So it's a novel and short stories. If that
Yeah, I like that. I like
So
that a lot. Yeah.
that's my goal, is to have that done by the summer.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, as far as welcome to the day, we're gonna excuse me. So again, for those of you that are listening on the audio version of Life and Stories, you can find those links on my YouTube channel. If you happen to belong to the Seminole Heights Facebook, I'm trying to remember what the exact name of it. Isn't that terrible? I think it's just called Seminole Heights.
I think it is just called Seminole Heights too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So, we'll post it on there, and then, you can buy Kevin's book, because I like I said, I'm nosy as hell. So I got to see what this is all about, because, I want to know why the mother's cut out.
You'll find out.
Yeah. And being a retired theater educator, are you going to do anything with that?
I'm actually doing a little tutoring right now.
Okay.
And that's a one-on-one is not a bad way to deal with things at the time. And like I told you before, I just got the Johnson & Johnson. So one and done shot, as I call it. So I'll be immune for a while, in just a little bit, actually. Will I go back and do it in the classroom? I don't know. We'll see. I would love to continue. I've directed and acted in the Tampa Bay area ever since I've been here.
Oh, okay.
Some years. I've written criticism for Creative Loafing and publications like that. So I don't think I'll ever not do something related to theater.
Yeah.
Because that's what my undergraduate degree was way back in 1980. So
okay,
it's in my blood. I'm gonna have to.
It's what you do. Yeah, we'll have to. We'll definitely have to talk offline, because I have to produce these series of e-learning, and I need teenagers. So
There you go.
I need actors. But
I know a bunch of teenagers.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, Keven, for
Oh, you're
chatting with me
welcome.
today. And I'm gonna have to grab your bio because I think there's more to it than what we talked about today. So people can read all about you and then go buy that book because I think there's gonna be an element of surprise.
There might be.
Yeah, but anyways, well, thank you so much. And like I
Thank
said,
you for
everyone
having
listening
me.
on audio, you're welcome. You're welcome. Just
Thank you.
pop over to the YouTube channel, grab all of Kevin's links, and stay tuned for the next episode of Life in Stories. This is Tina McGlynn, and make it a great day.